Hello everyone, Chris here. In this part I will teach you how to become even more powerful by using mutations. First, let's talk about what even are said mutations. Have you ever wondered why everything around you is evolving at such high speed, or how the apocalypse even happened? The answer is simple. Environment was polluted by a blob. As a consequence, things started to rapidly mutate, while dead creatures were hijacked and turned into zombies. And now we are going to use it to speed up our own evolution. In Cataclysm, you can mutate into many categories, ranging from common animals like cats or dogs, turning you into a furry, to more peculiar ones like slimes, allowing you to roleplay as Rimuru from Slime Tensei, and finally, finishing on most rare and difficult to create, like Medical, which transforms you into pain immune, incredibly resistant and strong psycho, Alpha, which elevates your already present human traits, basically a gigachat mutation, and lastly, Elf A, which transforms you into anime elf, fast, stealthy, good with ranged weapons, but frail and weak in melee combat. Elf mutation was created because scientists working on it was a weeb. I'm not even joking about that. Starting from today, it's official wiki explanation. Each category have both pros and cons, but last three have massive advantage over the rest. Your overall size and biology doesn't change drastically, allowing you to still use endgame armors. Mutations can be a mixed blessing. They can give you useful trait or curse you with something nasty. Every time you mutate, you deplete your phenotype. The more you deplete it, the bigger the chance for nasty mutations. There are three stages of genetic damage. First is called spent phenotype. When you see this effect, it's still safe to mutate. Next is depleted phenotype. On this stage, both good and bad mutations can start to happen. And lastly, the bankrupt phenotype. On this stage, it's good idea to take a break. You very slowly recover some of the damage every day. Having robust genetic trait helps you recover twice as fast, but it's still super slow. You may be wondering why I didn't pick robust genetic trait for my character. Don't worry, we will get it through other means. Most beneficial mutations are hidden behind a category threshold. You can get various mutations from different categories, but you can only get post-threshold mutations from one. This time I will show you how to easily mutate alpha category. There are two ways of getting your hands on mutagens. You can either find them in places like labs or make them yourself. You can sometimes find free alpha primers in this type of lab, but I have a better solution. Instead of wasting many hours by looking for this rare mutagen, we will make them ourselves. When it comes to creating mutagens, you will need few things: recipe, equipment, ingredients, and finally applied science skill. Both recipe, equipment, and few ingredients such as mutagens and purifiers can be found in science labs. Applied science skill can be easily leveled up by making chemical recipes. Usually the biggest problem, as you can see, are the rest of the ingredients. Just look at how much you will need for a single alpha mutagen. But, contrary to common opinion, it's now super easy to find them, as long as you are not picky about the source of those ingredients. That's because there are now two recipes for alpha mutagen. You can either spend days to try to get all of this, or you can simply use alpha samples, and it's way easier to get samples. You can get them by dissecting a transcendent mutant or mutant child. Both of them can be found in Transcoast Logistics Mutant Room. There are only two things that you need to know when it comes to getting samples. First, only thing that matters are dissecting with scalpel, which you can find on Mad Scientist, and second, never smash the corpse from which you will get samples, because if you do, you will only get a small fraction of samples from it. From my experimentations, you will need around 9 alpha primers to fully mutate, so you will need 18 alpha samples and 18 purifiers. Once you have your primers, you can start to mutate. Primers act as instruction on how to mutate, while mutagens act as building blocks for mutation process. Be careful to not take too much mutagen or primer at the beginning, because you can either start to mutate all common categories at once when you offer those mutagen, or just die when you offer those primers. Other nice things about alpha category is the robust genetic trait that you will mutate sooner or later. Once you mutated enough of the alpha category, you can try to take more alpha primer and mutagen catalyst in order to break through the threshold and become a fully-fledged mutant, but don't rush things. Once you succeed and become a alpha mutant, it doesn't stop you from getting pre-threshold mutations from other categories. You can get especially useful mutations from medical category. Medical samples are a bit harder to get, not because it's more difficult to find our targets, but because each one can only sometimes drop you one sample. You can get medical samples from dissecting victims of dermatics. They can be found in the nest. On the map it's called a mound of dirt. If you ever get into bankrupt phenotype, it's a good idea to take a break. Next part I will show you how to easily use that time to find and install bionics and make your character even more overpowered. Thanks for subscribing and leaving positive comments on my last video. You guys are wonderful. Peace out.